Hey kiddos, welcome to this week's homework where we are looking at word problems. As a reminder, with word problems, we're asking ourselves two things. What are they asking me to do, and what numbers are they giving me to use? So let's dive in. Taylor purchased 33 bags of candy to prepare for a Halloween party. When she got there, she saw that Heather had already brought 40 bags, and when Stephen arrived, he had 15 more bags. How many bags of candy will they have for the party? So we need to total these. 33 plus 40 gives us 73, plus Stevens gives us 88. They have 88 bags in total. Elisa baked 76 sugar cookies for the bake sale fundraiser. She sold 47 on Saturday and 20 on Sunday. How many cookies did she have left over? Well, she started with 76. She sold 47 and 20, which gives us a total of 67. So when we take how many she started with and we subtract how many she sold, she has 9 cookies left over. There are 36 cupcakes. Christina ate 5 and Leah took 12 or 18 to her school. How many are still left? So started with 36, but 18 plus 5 are gone, which gives us a total of 23. When we subtract that from how many we started with, we're left with 13 cupcakes. Dennis is helping his aunt in her pizza shop. He made 23 pepperoni and 27 cheese pizzas. At the end of his shift, there were still 4 left over. How many pizzas were sold? So 23 pepperoni and 27 cheese give us a total of 50 pizzas. If there were 4 left over, that means that 46 pizzas were sold. Gloria went to her local orchard this past week. She picked 80 apples and 90 peaches. When she got home, she found that 2 apples and 8 peaches were rotten. How many apples and how many peaches are edible? So 80 apples, but 2 were bad. 90 peaches, but 8 were bad. Don't forget to borrow on both of these. So 78 apples were still good, and 82 peaches were still good. The high school is doing a canned food drive for the whole month of May. They received 33 cans in week 1, 42 for week 2, 17 for week 3, and 29 cans for week 4. Watch this question. How many cans did they collect in the first 3 weeks? We have our first case of unnecessary information. They're trying to trick us by telling us how many cans we got in week 4, but it's only asking for the first 3 weeks total. So we have 33 plus 42 as our first 2 weeks. That gives us 75 plus 17 more for week 3. 75 and 17 gives us a total of 92 cans for the first 3 weeks of May. Questions on these? Bring them to class. All right, let's continue. It says a dairy farmer has 10 cows in a pasture. Each cow produces 5 gallons of milk a day. How many gallons of milk will she get in a week? Well, the 10 cows produce 50 gallons every day, and there's 7 days in a week. So if I felt comfortable doing 50 times 7, I can do that, or I can add 57 times. 7 times 0 is 0. 5 times 7 is 35. 350 gallons of milk per week. Vince spent $30 on 40 pens and $20 on 80 pocket folders. How much did he spend at the store in total? And how many items did he buy? Well, he spent $30 for 40 pens and $20 for 80 pens. So we're looking at 2 separate problems. He spent $50 and he bought 120 items. Robert got 7 yellow tomato plants. Each plant produces 7 tomatoes in the first harvest. Excuse me. If he completed 2 harvests, how many tomatoes did he have to sell? Well, the first harvest gave us 7 tomatoes from each plant, which is 49. And if he did that twice, we have 98 tomatoes to sell. Stacy is buying 6 pizzas. Each pizza is cut into 8 pieces. If she spent $2 per slice, how much did she spend on pizza? So 6 pizzas give 8 slices each, which is 48 slices. And I paid $2 per slice, which means I had to double it. So I spent $96 on pizza. I could also take my 48 and multiply it by 2. Either of those strategies would work beautifully. Cameron has $24 to spend daily on 2 employees. If the work trip was 2 days long, how much did he spend? Well, if he spends $24 per day and there were 2 days, Cameron spent $48, but there's 2 employees, so we have to double it. He spent $48 on each of them. So $96. Last one, Tracy has 70 toys that she wants to separate into 7 totes. Each tote will be half hard toys and half soft toys. If each tote has the same amount, how many soft toys are inside? So if we have 70 toys and we need to divide them into 7 totes, that means each tote has 10 toys. If half of them are soft and half of them are hard, if we cut 10 in half, it's 5 and 5. So there's going to be 5 soft toys inside. Any questions on these? Bring them to class. All right, let's talk about some cupcakes. Cupcakes cost 55 cents. Cookies cost 25 cents. What is the total you would spend if you purchased 2 cupcakes and 3 cookies? So cupcakes were each 55 cents, and I bought 2 of them. So that is $1.10. Watch, because we're talking about money. And then cookies, I have 3, so 25 and 25 and 25, which gives me 75 cents. And if I add these 2 money amounts together, I spent $1.85. If you have any questions with the money, if that was sticky, bring them to class. Over here, Sydney bought her and her brother tickets to see a baseball game. While at the game, she bought them hot dogs. If she spent $125 in total and the hot dogs were 15, how much were the tickets? Well, she spent $125 and the hot dogs were 15 of that, which means $110 for the ticket, but I want to know each. This was a little sticky. We had to cut it in half. If I cut it in half, each ticket was $55. $55. There are 20 students after the first drop-off. At the second drop-off, 5 parents drop off 2 children each. How many students are at school? So we're starting with 20. We have 5 parents that each drop off 2 kids, so they drop off an additional 10. We add that to how many students started at the school. We now have 30 students at the school. 30 students. Lauren played a disc drop 10 times. She played the ring toss 7 times. If each game costs 3 tickets, how many tickets did she use? Well, in total, she played 17 games and each of them was 3 tickets. So I can do 17 times 3 or 17 plus 17 plus 17. Either way, she spent 51 tickets. Elliot has 78 toy cars. He kept 15 of them. He gave his brother 5 cars and the rest went to his friends. How many cars did his friends get? So he started with 78. He kept 15 for him and 5 for his brother. So he kept a total of 20. And if we take those off, how many he started with, that means that his friends got to share 58 cars. Last one for this one. It says Emily got 4 packs of socks for $10 each. How much did she start with if she had $45 left over? So the socks cost her $40. She had 45 when she was done. So to figure out what she started with, I have to add them. She started with $85. Questions on these? Bring them to class. All right, on to page 4. The Mustangs football team scored 32 points during Friday night's game. The Raiders scored 18 points less than the Mustangs. How many points were scored in total? So first we need to figure out the Raiders. So the Mustangs had 38, the Raiders had 18 less, which means they got 14 points for the Raiders. But I want to know how many game points were scored in total. So if the Mustangs had 32 and the Raiders had 14, That means there was a total of 46 points scored. Over here, Crystal and Wade had started a rock collection with 30 rocks. They decided to go to the park where Wade found 9 and Crystal found 15. How many rocks do they have now? So they started with 30. They found 15 and 9. So 24 were found. Add them to what they started with. They now have 54 rocks. There are 38 green blocks and 93 yellow blocks in a box. If Mike takes out 12 to play with, how many are left? Well, we need to decide how many we have to start. So 93 and 38. 131 blocks to start, but Mike took 12. Which means we have 119 blocks remaining. Robin spent 60 minutes making cookies. If the first 15 minutes were spent prepping the dough and the rest cooking 5 batches, how long did the cookies bake for? So she spent 60 minutes in total. 15 of that was prepping the dough, which means she spent 45 minutes baking the cookies. A blanket takes 5 bunches of yarn. Denise makes 9 blankets. How many bunches of yarn did she use? Well, each blanket takes 5 bunches of yarn. 9 times 5 means she had 45 bunches of yarn. At the movies, an adult ticket costs $15 and a child's ticket costs $11. How much will a family of 3 adults and 2 children pay? So if it's $15 for each adult, it's $45 for adult tickets. Each child costs $11. And there's 2 children. So the adults cost $45 and the children cost $22, which means a total of $67 for them to go to the movies. Questions on these? Bring them to class. All right, loves, looking at our last page, it says Cody set up a lemonade stand over the weekend. He sold 9 lemonades on Friday, 27 on Saturday, and 45 on Sunday. How much lemonade did he sell over the weekend? So we had 45 and 27, just starting with my larger numbers. So 72 plus the 9 on Friday. He sold 81 lemonades over the weekend. Megan is going shopping. She has $245. If she spent $50 on a pair of pants and $125 on a pair of shoes, how much money does she have left over? Well, we need to decide how much she spent first, which is $175. She had $245. We subtract what she spent. Don't forget to borrow. She has $70 left over. Kate spent 50 minutes on her math homework and 25 minutes on her science homework on Monday night. On Tuesday, she spent 15 minutes on math and 35 minutes on science. How much time did she spend on homework over those 2 days? So Monday, she spent 75 minutes. On Tuesday, she spent 50 minutes, which means in total, she spent 125 minutes on homework over 2 days. Walker made 4 dozen cookies for his school fundraiser. He sold 7 cookies in the first hour. How many more does he need to sell to run out? Well, if there's 4 dozen, a dozen is 12. He made 4 of them. I can do 12 times 4 or 12 plus 12 plus 12 plus 12. This gives me 48 cookies. He sold 7, which means he has to sell. There we go. He has to sell 41 more cookies to sell out. All right, last 2. Be careful on this one. Dakota has 42 lima beans, 35 brown beans, 24 white beans, and 26 black beans in a bag. How many brown, white, and black beans are in the bag? I did not ask for lima beans. Unnecessary information. So 35 plus 24 gives me 59. Add the 26 black. 9 and 6 is 15. 5, 7, 8. 85 beans were in the bag. Last one. Rick bought 5 boxes of bananas. Each box held 8 bananas. How many bananas in total did he buy? So 8 bananas in each of the 5 boxes. He has 40 bananas. Questions? Bring them to class.